Hello, my name is Melissa Sisson, and I am the Public Services Reference Librarian here at Siena Heights University Library. Today we'll be looking at how to search for books and why do we want to use books. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going into My Siena. You should already be logged in using your student ID and password. To your right hand side you will see My Tools. At this point, we're going to go down and use other library links. Click on that, and you'll see the library's web page basically. And in the center of the page, you will see Library Catalog. At that time, you will click on Library Catalog, and you'll come up with a friendly search box. So what we're going to use for our topic today is food. And the author that we're going to utilize is Michael Pollan. So always what you want to do is put the author's last name in first, and we know that it's Pollan. You always put a comma and then a space. That's very important. And then put in his first name, Michael. And you got to make sure that you spell it right or you're in trouble. Now, when we do that, we will get a search. But let's just for the moment decide we don't know that it's Michael. We've forgotten. We know it's Pollan, but we're not sure. So at any time when you're not sure of a first name or even how to spell a first name, what you can do is you can use your shift and the little star, which is the number 8, and put in an asterisk. And that's called a wildcard. So what we're doing is we're going to say, give me what you got and let's see what we can find. Again, click here, and you're going to see, once again, thank goodness, we have a Michael and not a Michelle and a Michael, or we'd be in trouble. But anyway, so we have Michael Pollan, and we have 4 titles that he has written. So let's click on them and see what we have. Okay, the first one that comes up is Food Inc. That's one that I think your classes have already been looking at, and you'll notice in the brackets that it tells you that it's a video recording. So that also lets you know that this is not a print book. And today we're strictly looking at print books because those are important pieces of information. Number 2 is Food Rules, an Eater's Guide, or manual, excuse me. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a click on that and take a look. What we see is the title of the book, Food Rules, an Eater's Manual, and that it's written by Michael Pollan. We see the location of publication, which is in New York, and we see the publisher, which is Penguin Books, and also the date that it was done, and that was the year 2009. Also, you'll notice down below are various subject areas that we could hit on, which we'll take a look at in a minute. Another thing that's important is the description. This tells me how many pages long this is, so it's 140 pages, and ILL, which doesn't mean that the book is ill, but it means illustrations. So there's some pictures in there as well. Other things that are going to be important that will help you out is location. Location, location, location. So we know that it's in Siena's library. Collection is General Stacks, as well as the call number. Now we use the Library of Congress classification call number. Most academic institutions use that. So that lets us know where it's located at, as well as where it's located at. General Stacks. So we're not walking around in reference or oversized or curriculum, but we know that it's in the general stacks. The other thing that's most important is the status. It is checked in, so it should be on the shelf. Okay, so what we can do is if we look over here on the left-hand side is perhaps we want to see something and find more materials, so we'll go and look under Food Habits. When I click on Food Habits, I now have 91 titles that match food habits. So that gives you some other topics, books, and materials that are related to food, and that could help you out. Our materials are chronologically ordered, so You might run into a bunch of electronic resources. We will be looking at electronic resources again in the future in another session. Right now we're strictly looking at print books. So that was just a sample of what you can do when you're looking for subjects and other materials. If your professor said they wanted 30 sources or 20 sources and you needed more materials, looking at the various subjects that are related to your topic can be of help to you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back and look at Michael Pollan and his 4 that we have. Okay. And again, we see that number 3 is the omnivore's dilemma, as well as second nature. So those are some things that will give you some ideas. These are all things that just Michael Pollan has written. Okay, so that is what an author search can do for you. We can go right up here at the top in the search box and drop down, and now we can do a title browse. So perhaps there was a title of something that you can remember that you like. We can erase Michael Pollan, and we're going to do fast food. Fast Food Nation is the title of a book. Okay, The Dark Side of the All-American Meal. Okay, so it's also food related, and it's the pluses and the negatives. We are what we eat. So, and that's another title that we could be looking at. So Fast Food Nation is the title of a book that we could utilize if you were going to break down into more of these types. Convenience foods, food industry and trade, and fast food restaurants. The other thing that this one, if you'll notice, has is content notes. So this gives you a little bit more information of what you can find inside this book, as well as additional notes. So it gives you some extra, is this what I want to look at or not? If we would go over here and do the food industry, we have 20 titles. That also breaks down into the materials that we might want to look at. Okay, Fast Food Nation, that's the one we had. Here's food politics and how the food industry influences nutrition and health. Again, it's not just how we're eating and what we're eating, but how is it affected by industry, by politics, industry, as you can see down farther, the food industry wars. There's a lot of things that are connected to our eating habits and food in general. So when you're looking for a topic and you're writing a research paper, you know, we don't want 25 of you all writing just about fast food, but what are some of the other aspects of what this topic can do for you and how you can write about it. So there's a lot of things that you can do here. Here's food trends and the changing consumer, and Chicken Little, tomato sauce, and agriculture. So you could do a whole different twist on this by looking at agriculture and how does food and how are we dependent on agriculture for getting our materials. So that's also another way of how you would do it by utilizing title. Because remember, we went to title first, which was Fast Food Nation. So now we're going to go down here and we're going to go subject. Many times we're given a topic and we don't know anything about it. So you can just put in food. Here we go. Okay. So we can see here, number 1, under just the topic food, that there are 35 titles under that. And you'll also notice underneath in bullet points are other see alsos. So you can go with just the food, but perhaps as you're going down you might say, ooh, I really like this. Let's look at junk food. Must be hungry today. Here's detox. Okay, I don't know if I want this one so much, but it's an interesting one. You know, you could take a whole twist on toxicology. What are the food additives? And so many people have allergies to food additives. That might be an interesting twist for a research paper as well. Whether you utilize the book or you don't. Maybe I want to do the prehistoric people and food. That intrigues me too. So when we click on that, we see that there are 7 titles that match that. What evolution really tells us about sex, diet, and how we live. Interesting stuff. And again, you're also going to notice quite a few electronic resources, and that just enhances what we have in our collection that might be a little bit older, and this is more current and more up-to-date materials than what we have. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to stop and think about why are we utilizing books and what is the importance of them. Books cover materials in great depth, okay, and they also are good sources for background information. So if you're unfamiliar with a topic, a book can help you that way. It can give you a historical viewpoint and some background, and so you have an idea of what you're dealing with. One of the weaknesses, and probably the strongest weakness I would say, is that it's dated material. It takes a while to publish a book. So if you are looking for something in a time-sensitive mode, you're not going to probably want to utilize a book because it takes at least a year to publish a book. So you'll have to judge by what your topic is. And so today, I think that's what we're going to stop at for how to use a book and why to use a book. And I will see you soon for more sessions.